Africa, as you all know, has the youngest population. I think it was mentioned out there, with 70% of Africa being youth under 35. And as it was said, it will reach a time in every 3 people, 1 of them will be an African. Sometimes people frame this as a crisis, but it's actually not a crisis. We see this as Africa's greatest untapped asset. Young people are not looking for handouts. They just need a platform. They're not looking for savings, but a space where they can lead and be the change that they want to see. So through volunteerism, we equip them with employability skills, civic agency, entrepreneurial drives. And we give them real responsibility, we trust them, and in turn, we co-create tangible impact. It was found that volunteerism contributes to 3.66, call it almost 4% of the GDP. Now that's in the formal sector. A lot of volunteerism happens in the informal sector. If I was to make an approximation, I'd actually think the impact is 10 times more than what we put in here. And if volunteerism can impact GDP at that level, then we cannot look at volunteerism as just being good, goodwill. It has to be a strategy embraced in policy, embraced in government institutions. It needs to be funded. In other words, governments need to put aside funds that support volunteerism as a strategy so that we can actually see the kind of development that we are looking at. I want to talk a little bit about volunteerism in our own country here. In 2022, the Ministry of Public Service drafted the National Volunteerism Policy. It still has not become a bill, and I just heard that now volunteerism has shifted ministries, and I'm really delighted that now we are sitting in the Ministry of Youth, because at my age it's a bit hard to volunteer, but with the youth, with their energy, then that is where it should be placed. We would really wish, as a request to the ministry, Bwana PS, to have this policy actually be passed as a bill in Parliament, hopefully this year. Because once we do that, if we get that goodwill and we get this policy passed as a bill, then we will get allocation of funds. It will be part of strategy, and we need to recognize volunteerism as a valued credential even when it comes to civil service recruitment. In other words, if a volunteer comes in and says they've volunteered for a year, it needs to count for something when it comes to an employability.